sun, here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Down here the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since you've been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. It's alright.
Oh, great. That's great.
Thank you.
Music makers at the very last minute last night, because such a fitting song for the first day after the longest night. It just, that's the one. So.
And nature's cooperating.
Yes, yeah, right on me, yeah. Good morning. My name is Paul Dalzell, and I am the worship coordinator of this, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charleston. Welcome all of you, our members, our friends, and if this is your first time here, we welcome you and thank you for joining us today. If you are new to UUC, I sincerely hope you will find us an open, accepting congregation. We are the place, as a wise man once told me. If you don't feel you fit in anywhere else, you belong here. We come together as a community to do good and to be better. To do good, a part of our belief system, is that collective social justice work is crucial to who we are as a religious people. To be better, to develop ourselves, to be better humans, kinder, gentler, and more open. As the Zen Buddhists say, each of you is perfect just the way you are, and you could use a little improvement. Unitarian Universalism is non-creedal, deliberately pluralist, and unambiguously and unapologetically progressive. The strength of our congregation is our plurality. What you believe in matters less than what you do in our faith. We find inspiration and wisdom from wherever we can find it, from parables, paganism, and John Prine. When we gather to worship here, we shape what is of worth to us. When we gather in community, to sit together, to sing together, to listen, to find peace, and to help those who need us, that is of worth. Please know that we welcome you, whoever you are.
You are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
Let's take a moment to thank all the volunteers and staff who work to make Sundays happen. Thanks to our music coordinator, Jamie Edwards, and the UUC music makers for the work they do to bring us joy. And as always, a big thank you to our congregational administrator, Sarah Stone, for her patience and talent in organizing these facilities, keeping us informed, and keeping this community of caring counterculture congregants operating. We are excited about our upcoming Christmas Eve service which this year will be led by our contract minister, Reverend Don Rollins. We traditionally have cookies and hot cocoa after the service. If you would, please bring some cookies or treats to share. Also, the collection that we collect on Christmas Eve goes straight to the minister's discretionary fund. That is a fund that we use to help our members and our neighbors in times of need throughout the year. And for the final time, it's time to ask you once again to donate to the staff holiday gift. This can be done online, in the plate, or through the U.S. mail. Just note for staff holiday gift on it, however you give. UUC does not give our staff a year-end bonus, as some businesses do. We rely on you, the members, to say thank you for the work you do during this holiday season to the 7 staff members. Today's service is being live streamed on Zoom. It will then be available for viewing shortly after it ends on YouTube, because we are changing some things in the way we broadcast our services. We're going back to the Zoom platform for live streams, and then we will edit our services to eliminate dead air and other problems before we post them on YouTube. They will not be edited for content. We, the tech team, Reverend Don and myself, feel this will fix many of the problems we have experienced with our current method of sharing our services with you and the public. We also have some other improvements on the way that have yet to be determined, so stay tuned. Just rest assured that we are doing all we can to bring you and our viewers at home a high-quality worship service. The Roots and Shoots religious exploration will continue exploring our UU shared values today. And this Thursday, the 26th, Spiral Moon Grove will be doing a meditation and release ritual. The holidays are winding down, and it's time to release all the built-up stress you may have accumulated during the holiday season. Please join us in de-stressing. And as Marie lights our chalice, please join me in reading the words in your order of service. It is entitled Warmth, Joy, and Togetherness by Ben Soul. Out of the darkness, light. Out of the light, warmth. Out of the warmth, joy. Out of the joy, togetherness. May this flame hold us for the time we are here with one another. Our story for all ages was slightly misprinted in the order of service. It is the rebirth of Son. It is by the authors listed, but we left out apostrophe S, Sarah Stone's husband, Travis. So they changed horses. She wasn't feeling good yesterday.
Good morning. This is called Circle Round. Circle round, and I'll tell you a story about when the sun was born again. It was the middle of winter, and the sun had grown very old. All year long, the sun had worked very hard, rising and setting day after day. All year long, the sun had fed everybody on earth, shining and shining, giving energy to the trees and the flowers and the grasses so they could grow and feed the animals and birds and insects and people. All year, the sun's gravity held tight to the spinning ball of the earth and the twirling ball of the moon, and the 8 other whirling planets as they traveled around and around and around, until the poor sun was dizzy watching it all. Now the poor tired sun could barely make it up in the morning, and after a very short time needed to sleep again. So the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer, until the day was so short it was hardly worth getting up for. Night felt sorry for the sun. "Come to my arms and rest, child," she said. "After all, I am your mother. You were born out of my darkness billions of years ago, and you will return to me when all things end. Let me cradle you now as I shelter every galaxy and star in the universe." So Night wrapped her great arms around the sun, and the night was very long indeed. "Why does the dark go on so long?" asked children all over the earth. "Won't the sun ever come back again?" "The sun is very tired," the old one said. "But maybe, if you children say thank you for all the things the sun has done for us, the light may return in the morning." The children sang songs to the sun. They thought about all the things the sun gave them. "Thank you for growing the lettuce and the corn and the rice and the wheat," they said. "Thank you for growing the trees of the forests and the seaweed in the oceans and the krill that feed the whales. Thank you for stirring the air and making winds that bring the rain." Every time a child said thank you, the sun began to feel a little warmer. Wrapped safely in the arms of night, the sun grew younger and younger. At last, the children had to go to bed. "We will stay up and wait for the sun to rise again," the old one said. "Can't we stay up too?" the children asked. "You can try, but you will get too sleepy," the old one said. "But you can each light a candle, because all the fire is the sparks of the sun's fire. Put your candle in a very safe place, and let it keep vigil for you as you sleep and dream of sunrise." So the children lit their candles and put them in a very safe place, and each flame was a little spark of the sun's fire. And the sun peeped out from between the arms of night and saw all the little fires, and began to feel warmer and brighter and younger still. Early in the morning, the old ones woke the children. Together they climbed a high hill and faced to the east, the direction of the sunrise. They sang songs to the sun and ran around trying to keep warm. They waited and waited to see what dawn would bring. The sky began to turn from black to indigo to blue. Slowly the sky grew light. A golden glow crept over the horizon. Night opened her great arms, and in a burst of brightness the sun appeared, new and strong and shining. For in a long night the sun had rested well and grown young from the songs and the thanks of those children, young as a brand new baby born out of the night once more. Everybody cheered, and the children jumped up and down. "The sun has returned, the sun is reborn," the people cried, and they danced and sang to celebrate the birth of a new day, and then went home to breakfast.
Please rise in body, spirit, and voice as you are able for our song for all, number 226, People Look East.
People look east, the time is near of the crowning of the year. Make your house fair as you are able. Trim the hearth and set the table. People look east and sing today. Love the guest is on the way. Furrows be glad, the earth is bare. One more seed is planted there. Give up your strength, the seed to nourish. That in course the flower may flourish. People look east and sing today. Love the roses on the way. Stars keep the watch when night is dim. One more light the bowl shall brim, shining beyond the frosty weather, bright as sun and moon together. People look east and sing today. Love the star is on the way.
On a Winter's Morning by Barbara Cheatham. It is a good morning to be together. When winter's darkness spreads across the land and cold seeps through our thickest coats, we hurry here, drawn by the warmth of faces familiar and new, to the welcoming halls of this house. Here, for this hour, we open ourselves to new understanding, reassurance, and hope. For this is a place where truth, love, and challenge meet. It is a good morning to be together. We come to this place of sanctuary, whether in person or virtually, to connect with the greater good, to do good, and to be better. Part of sharing what is worth is sharing our joys, our celebrations, our sorrows, our concerns, our peace, our help, and our needs. Joys. Solstice celebration was well attended. I received blessings from the sun god who touched my soul, lasted all night, and welcomed the sun at dawn. Joy for visits with my sons and holiday parties with dear friends. Also that the concert at Unity was bliss, and indeed it was. And happy anniversary to the Gerards. Yeah. Concerns, my own, for those who are houseless in this bitter winter weather, and for the hearts of those who condemn them and make their lives harder. Please join me in reading our unison affirmation. The words are in your order of service. Love is the spirit of our faith, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. The offering we take each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit to this place and to these people. It is as much a ritual as singing together, lighting our chalice, or reciting our unison affirmation. It is a reminder of that form of love we call generosity. It is how we show that we believe it is important to worship together, to help our community, and to say yes to the values of our faith.
One day you'll look to see I've gone, for tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun. Someday you'll know I was the one, but tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun. And now the time has come, and so my love I must go. And though I lose a friend, in the end you will know. Oh, one day you'll find that I have gone, but tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun. But tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun. And now the time has come, and
So my love, I must go. And though I lose a friend, in the end you will know. Oh, one day you'll find that I am gone, but tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun. Yes, tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun.
Our meditation today will begin with a musical one. It is the meditation on breathing, which is in the Teal hymnal.
When I breathe out, I breathe out peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe out peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
Back in the year 1999, in my separated years before the divorce, I hitchhiked from Culloden to the backwoods of Clay County to stay with the girls for Christmas break. Pam had them then and the car, so I was left to my own devices. She agreed to stay with her boyfriend while I stayed with them. That was fine with me. Well, this solstice evening, as I started out, I caught rides most of the way, except for about the last 5 miles along the Ridge Road. As hitchhiking in Clay County often means walking, off I trudged, just as the sun was setting. I saw a couple of gay cardinals flicking about. There may have been some females too, but I couldn't see them against the bark of the trees. It was that time of day the Scots called the gloaming. It became dark rather quickly. But the moon was out, and the sky was clear. As the light of the sun faded, the moonlight made the snow that beautiful shade of blue peculiar to a deep snow in the woods. It was about 6 to 8 inches deep up on the ridge. I heard and then saw a small herd of deer scampering by, and even a fox run across the road in front of me. I was awestruck by the beauty of it all. The stars appeared like brilliant points of light above me. I even saw a couple of shooting stars through the trees above the road. I was dressed warmly, and besides, walking warms you too. I had the path of the one car that had gone before me to walk in. It was peaceful. It was serene. The dark enfolded me. It was not something to be feared, but rather it was like an old friend. I had walked this road alone and with friends over the years. I knew warmth and family awaited me. It came to me that I could easily have hated walking in the cold at night with a pack on my back, but I had the choice to either hate it or to enjoy being embraced by the brisk air and surrounded by this beautiful, peaceful, quiet night. And so I did. We had a delight-filled time those next 2 weeks. We played in the snow and then warmed ourselves by the fire. We built a snow woman and watched even more shooting stars together. We had hot chocolate and ate too much and then fell asleep by the wood stove. It was good. Now, one final humorous anecdote of that time. Our neighbors had a couple of horses that hung out on the farm we lived on. The girls decided, when they built the snow woman, to use grapefruit halves for the breastages. Well, the next day, we discovered the horses had eaten the grapefruits, turning them from outies to innies. Now let's talk about the science of the solstice. According to Britannica, Earth's axis has a 23.4 degrees tilt. And without this, not only would our planet not have a winter solstice, it would not have seasons at all. The axial tilt of the Earth means that, as our planet journeys around the sun, different areas of the planet experience varying degrees of sunlight. Without the axial tilt, the sun would remain directly above the equator, and everywhere on the planet would receive the same amount of light the year through. During the winter solstice, the North Pole is tilted that 23.4 degrees away from the sun, meaning its rays move south of the equator. That makes the sun appear in the constellation Sagittarius, which is why we call the Tropic of Capricorn that. The Tropic of Capricorn is an invisible line on the globe, 23 degrees and 27 minutes south of the equator, another invisible line. But yes, it turns out that the sun was once in Capricorn, but it's no longer there. Now it's in Sagittarius. It will be again in a mere 24,000 years. Apparently, instead of renaming it the Tropic of Sagittarius, they, the immortal they who decide things, will continue calling the Tropic Capricorn since it'll change back so soon. Here with our feet on the ground in the northern hemisphere, what happened is that yesterday was the shortest day and last night was the longest night of the year. In Charleston, yesterday was 9 hours, 29 minutes, and 34 seconds long. Last night lasted 14 hours, 30 minutes, and 26 seconds. The good news is that today will be 3 seconds longer than yesterday was. By January 22nd, the daylight will last 30 minutes longer. And by February 7th, we get a whole hour. Finally, on March 17th, our days and nights will both last 12 hours. The sun passes over the equator on the 20th. Our ancestors were more in tune with the sun's journey in the sky than we are. To them, the sun seemed to stop its southern travels. The solstice is named after the last Latin word sol and sistere, which means sun and to stand, referring to the days the sun stands still because it's the apparent movement of the sun's path north or south stops before changing direction. Our Neolithic European ancestors valued the winter solstice so much that they built carefully aligned monuments for it, including Stonehenge in England and Newgrange in Ireland. Newgrange points to the winter solstice sunrise, and solstice marks the solstice sunset. To me, winter shouldn't have begun yesterday. That should be the midpoint. But they didn't ask me when deciding when the season started, probably because I wasn't alive yet. I think winter should begin on Halloween and end on Groundhog Day. That's when it feels like the seasons change, isn't it? Which, yes, puts summer starting on May Day and August into autumn. Perhaps next time they design the calendar, they'll ask me first. Okay, that's the scientific side of the solstice and my never humble opinion about the seasons. Many other cultures celebrate the solstice too. Among them, Soyal is the winter solstice celebration of the Hopi Indians of northern Arizona. Ceremonies and rituals include purification, dancing, and sometimes gift-giving. The Persian festival, Yalda, or Shabi Yalda, is a celebration of the winter solstice in Iran that started in ancient times. It marks the last day of the Persian month of Azir. Yalda is viewed traditionally as a victory of light over dark and the birthday of the sun god Mithra. Inti Raymi, this solstice celebration comes in June rather than December, but for Peru, it is the winter solstice. And this Incan celebration is in honor of the sun god. Originally celebrated by the Inca before the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors, the festivities included feasts and sacrifices of animals and possibly even children. The Spaniards banned the holiday, but it was revived with mock sacrifices instead of real ones in the 20th century and is still celebrated today. The ancient Roman festival of Saturnalia is perhaps the most closely linked with the modern celebration of Christmas. It happened around the time of the solstice and celebrated the end of the planting season. There were games and feasts, gift-giving for several days, and social order was inverted. Slaves did not work and were briefly treated as equals. St. Lucia's Day is a festival of light celebrated in Scandinavia around the time of the winter solstice. Although it is now meant to honor St. Lucia, a Christian martyr, it has been incorporated with earlier Norse solstice traditions, such as lighting fires to ward off spirits during the longest night. Girls dress up in white gowns with red sashes and wear wreaths of candles on their heads in honor of St. Lucia. And Dongzhi, the arrival of winter, is an important festival in China. It is the time for families to get together and celebrate the year they have had. Based on the traditional Chinese celestial calendar, the holiday generally falls between the 21st and 23rd of December, is thought to have started as an end of harvest festival, with workers returning to the fields and from the fields and enjoying the fruits of their labors with family. Our pagan members and friends honored the solstice right here by staying awake all night, burning their Yule log, and lighting candles. They both acknowledge the dark and celebrate the return of the sun. We could all do that too. We don't often pay enough attention to the dark of night, do we? We banish it with electric lights and instead watch TV and ignore it. For me, as a guy who often works outside, I see these shorter days as an inconvenience. It gets dark so early, it shortens my workday. But just as seeds need to lay dormant in the winter, we also need the dark to rest, ponder, and think. Instead of making our night into day with activities and lights, it would help us to enjoy the night I know some of my favorite times have been at night, as well as the walk in the woods on that cold solstice night. There have also been many other enjoyable dark of night times. I remember playing hide and seek in the dark as a boy, going to football games in high school, camping out, gathering with friends around a bonfire, or just laying on the ground looking up at the stars. All of that, plus the sweet times of lying with another in the dark exploring passion. The nighttime is often the best of times. But we humans need daylight. We physically need it. We get vitamin D from sunlight, and according to Scientific American, the dimming of our daily ration of natural light leading up to the winter solstice produces a series of conspicuous physiological changes. These changes relate to circadian rhythms. The word circadian derives from the Latin circa diem, meaning about a day. It signifies the way animals, plants, fungi, and bacteria react to environmental cues, including inputs of light on a daily and seasonal basis. Our bodily rhythms are set by light. Your internal clock can get out of sync with the real time when you travel east to west and light exposure is shifted. This also happens with the shortest day of the year because your light exposure in the summer is 4 to 8 hours longer than in the winter. Right now, we are not getting the daylight signal until hours after we have to get up to go to school or work, which feels horrible and is unhealthy for our circadian rhythm. And so you have this delayed onset of the circadian stimulus, which is supposed to tell your body through the eyes and specialized brain structure that it's time to start activating. A set of so-called clock genes that are basically like a secretary of all cells and tell other cells when to do what. On top of that, we're also not getting enough sunlight throughout the day because it gets dark so early. It's dark hours before we're supposed to get sleepy, and that can have detrimental effects on people's mood, energy levels, and sleep, and worsen sundowning in older people with dementia, engendering confusion, agitation, and sleep disturbances. Depression is worse this time of year. Many people get up in the dark, go to work or school, sit in a windowless room under artificial lights, and then go home in the dark. Basically, they have spent potentially weeks in complete circadian darkness. If you don't get enough light because it's winter, the immune system dampens. You can stop making immune cells, T cells and macrophages, that you need to fight infections at certain times of the day. Less light means a less functioning immune system and lower resistance to infection. This is why we get sick. We have less resistance to germs, and by being inside around other people more, we share them more too. Many people, including myself, are afflicted with SAD, or seasonal affective disorder. According to the Mayo Clinic, if you're like most people with SAD, your symptoms start in the fall and continue into the winter months, sapping your energy and making you feel moody. These symptoms also often resolve during the spring and summer months. Don't brush off that yearly feeling as simply a case of the winter blues or seasonal funk that you have to tough out on your own. Take steps to keep your mood and motivation steady throughout the year. In most cases, seasonal affective disorder symptoms appear during the late fall or early winter and go away during the sunnier days of spring and summer. Less commonly, people with the opposite pattern have symptoms that begin in the spring or summer. In either case, symptoms may start out mild and become more severe as the season progresses. You might feel listless, sad, or down most of the day, nearly every day. Lose interest in activities you once enjoyed. Have low energy and feel sluggish. Having problems with sleeping too much. Experience carbohydrate cravings, causing you to overeat and weight gain. You might have difficulty concentrating. Might feel hopeless, worthless, or guilty. Have thoughts of not wanting to live. Treatment for SAD may include light therapy, phototherapy, psychotherapy, and medications. According to the National Alliance of Mental Health, some tips are: seek natural light whenever possible. Even a short walk outdoors can produce much needed exposure to sunlight. Maintain a regular sleep schedule. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night to support your body's natural rhythms. Engage in regular physical activity. Connect with loved ones. Social interactions can help combat feelings of isolation and loneliness. Practice mindfulness and relaxation techniques. And seek professional help if needed. And it says to remember you are not alone in this. The winter solstice may bring darkness, but it also reminds us of the power of the sun's return and the resilience of the human spirit. By embracing the darkness and cultivating inner light, we can find strength and hope in the midst of winter's challenges. I think that's the key. Yes, you should embrace and acknowledge the darkness, but most of all, we must know and realize the sun will return. Beginning literally today, the nights become shorter and the days grow longer. Remember what George said.
Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright.
I invite you to rise once again in voice, body, or spirit with our Song for All, number 51, Lady of the Season's Laughter.
This is another one of those songs that no one knows, so we're going to go over the melody first, and then we'll sing it. And this is a little more difficult because there are 3 measures of piano playing before each verse. So just look at us up here when you want to know when to begin. But we're going to start now. Lady of the season's laughter, in the summer's warmth be near. When the winter follows after, teach our spirit not to fear. Hold us in your steady mercy, Lady of the turning year. Lady of the season's laughter, in the summer's warmth be near. When the winter follows after, teach our spirits not to fear. Hold us in your steady mercy, Lady of the turning year. Sister of the evening starlight, in the falling shadows stay. Here among
us in your steady mercy, Lady of the turning day. Mother of the generations, in whose love all life is worth, everlasting celebrations bring our labor safe to birth. Hold us in your steady mercy, Lady of the turning earth. Goddess of all time's progression, stand with us when we engage, hands and hearts to end oppression, writing history's fairer page. Hold us in your steady mercy, Lady of the turning age.
On this, the day after the longest night of the year, we are warmed by the certain knowledge that today will welcome more light than yesterday, as it has for eons, for billions of years. The coming of light brings life. May we be awed by the great miracles of light and life, and faithfully nurture the mystery and magic of wonder. Now let's sing our recessional.
The postlude or the recession?
The Go Now in Peace.
Go
now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Sing "We Are an Angry People" 2 times, and then you can leave. The first verse 2 times. First verse 2 times.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing